to the day of his death. Here she adds words. Why does she say so? I believe that she wanted to make it clear that he is a Nazarite for life. She understood it intuitively that if he is a Nazarite from birth or from before birth, he must be a Nazarite for life, and so she actually gives a commentary to what the angel has told us, which shows that she is very intelligent. Now, the crucial matter is that she does not say, והוא יחל להושיע את ישראל מיד פלישתים. She omits the words, and he will begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Plishtim. Why so? First of all, I forgot that she also omits the words, and no razor should touch his head. She omits two elements. So about the razor, the only thing which I can offer to you is that she thought, you don't bring children to the barber before a year or two. So why should I load upon my husband's understanding so much burden? I say that I'm not allowed to drink, and from today I have a different diet than you. But about the razor, she will say after a year or two. All right. But why doesn't she reveal to him the most important words of the revelation? That he will be the Savior of Israel. Because he will say that she's crazy. You understand that this is my interpretation. This is very important to make a distinction between what is written and what we interpret. It's daring enough that to tell him that she will be pregnant on the condition that she won't drink any wine. But she makes it as short as possible. If it will be 5 or 6, when we be 3, she will speak about shaving. It will be 5 and 6, and we'll see how it develops. She will say, I forgot to tell you. All right? So you got it with my interpretation. I'm not sure that this is the truth of the matter, but I'm quite sure. Now, as I always tell you, close the book virtually. To ask yourself, what could be the reaction of her dear husband? In other words, what do you guess? Will he believe her or not believe her? There are two options, right? She will say, no, you are crazy and we have to give up having children. Or he will say, no, I always knew that you are a very special woman and now you speak with prophets. Or I would say, not you speak with prophets, but prophets approach you. I knew that they will teach about you in Pardes the 3,000 years to come. He would never been remembered without Eshet Manoah, right? These are the two options, but in life there's usually a third one. So now let's read the third one. Verse 8. ויתר מנוח אל אדוני, ויאמר, בי אדוני, איש האלוהים אשר שלחת, יבוא נא עוד אלינו ויורנו, מה נעשה לנער היולד? And Manoah pleaded with the Lord, and he said, Oh my Lord, please let the man of God that you sent come to us again, and let him instruct us how to act with the child that is to be born. So did he believe her or didn't he? He surely believed her, because he says to God, the man of God whom you have sent to my wife, right? So if he believes her, he makes this daring, scandalous prayer. God, please, send him again this prophet so that we will hear what is to be done with the son which will be born to us. What kind of a praise? You see, we cannot continue without supplying a theory for his behavior. This is how you read the biblical stories. You have to read them very slowly and always to ask yourself the relevant question. Why does he want a second revelation? Because he doesn't trust his wife? He trusts her. So I have to now supply an explanation. So when I graduated from the university, in the years when there was a tremendous influx of immigrants to the state of Israel, which actually doubled the population in 1 year. So I went at the beginning to Beit Shemesh and then to Be'er Sheva, and I thought that this is the great mission of our generation to accept this, to how do you say it? Absorb these immigrants. And so one day in Be'er Sheva we met. There were very few Sabras who did the job of absorption, and a lot of immigrants, mostly from oriental countries, but also from Romania and Balkanic countries. And we were 5, 6 Israeli-born professionals who were sitting and complaining. I don't know whether it was Leil Shabbat, where it is accepted to do this complaining. Anyway, everybody would say how difficult this job is with these, primitive people with whom we are blessed to work. And there was a social worker. They had a green dress. She worked in a tipat chalav. How do you call it in a baby clinic? Baby care. Baby care. And she said, these people are simply impossible. It's so difficult, she said, to teach an alphabetic and an illiterate mother how to make the right proportions between the milk, the natural milk which she is giving to the baby, and the powder milk which we get from the United Nations. And they don't know anything. It's very difficult to teach them. But this I am prepared to do. What is so difficult is that her husband comes to the child care and he says, no, don't talk to my wife. Talk to me. I will explain it to my wife. Why do I need him? So I dare to say with Mar Yamulka, did you read Shoftim chapter 13? I actually understood the Bible through my work with Oriental people. And I realized that the Bible is an Oriental book. It is really set in the Orient, not in North America. God forbid. Really, God forbid. You think Oriental countries are backward, right? But wait before you come to Canada. So she didn't know the story, and I had to retell the story. And I told her Manoah was deeply insulted by the fact that he was, how do you say? Circumvented. And these husbands of the mothers, they don't understand the difference between Misrad HaBriyut, Hadassah, Kupat Cholim, and 10 more agencies. Can you believe this is imposed on new immigrants from Oriental countries? I don't know whether Americans understand all the subtleties of these agencies. So he thinks that his wife is going to the government. And with the government, it is his job to speak. Whether it pertains to getting a job or whether it pertains to get powder milk from the United Nations. So you have to work through the husbands, and believe me, it will be much easier. So here we have Manoah, who our reality explains us his behavior, but the narrator doesn't have to explain this because all the readers knew that this is an oriental society. So he prays to God and says, I've been circumvented. Please let me have a share in raising this child. I am his father, his prospective father. And now you close the book again and ask yourself, will God, Ribon Kol HaOlamim, the master of all the worlds, answer this this prayer? Believe me, I have bigger prayers and they are not answered. No, I don't laugh. I pray for rain. I know that God doesn't answer all our prayers. And it's highly surprising and astonishing that God will answer this almost foolish, in divine terms, prayer of Manoah. So let us continue the story. I'm in verse 9. וישמע האלוהים בקול מנוח ויבוא מלאך האלוהים עוד אל האישה והיא יושבת בשדה ומנוח אישה אין עמה. But God has a sense of humor. This is clear to all Jews, not to Christians, but Jews know that it couldn't be otherwise. So look, isn't it a wonderful verse? God heeded Manoah's plea, and the angel of God came to the woman again. Unbelievable. You know, we say Avinu Malkeinu, and we believe that God is not only our king and our father, he's also our teacher. You know, Melamed Amo Israel Torah, he's a teacher, or rather an educator, the arch-educator in heaven. And he educates Manoah. I would say lovingly, but harshly, as a good educator has to mix his reaction. So God is heeding his prayer, but not the way he wants it to be. This angel, and the narrator repeats, it's an angel. Please don't forget. It's an angel. The angel comes again, but again to the woman while she is in the field and her husband is not with her. Poor woman. She knows exactly what he's going to say. Right? Verse 10, which I like very much. ותמהר האישה, ותרוץ ותגד לאישה, ותאמר אליו, הנה נראה אלי האיש אשר בא ביום אלי. ויקום וילך מנוח אחרי אשתו, ויבוא אל האיש ויאמר לו, אתה האיש אשר דיברת אל האישה? ויאמר, אני. Let's read it in English because here there is a grave mistranslation. Verse 10. The woman ran in haste to tell her husband, and she said to him, the man who came to me before has just appeared to me. You see, this is in biblical hospitality, also in Western hospitality, good service is quick service. And you don't leave a guest waiting long for you. So this woman doesn't speak with the prophet or with the angel because she knows exactly what he wants, and she knew the prayer of her husband. So she, ותמהר האישה ותרוץ, and she hasted and ran in haste rather to tell her husband. And she said to him, again the man. Now she knows that he will meet the man, the angel. And she doesn't say, Isha Elohim. She says now, the man, Haish. So we cannot say, as many scholars do, that she did not understand that this is an angel. We have to realize that she is diminishing it far now, a second diminishing. First she said, instead of angel, Isha Elohim, man of God. Now she says only man. Why? Because she believes, or she knows very well, that he won't realize that he is looking very special. He will see only a man. Now I have a proof for what was quite a daring theory 10 minutes ago. Because now she changes a little and says, the man who has shown himself to me. So the woman ran in haste, and what does her husband do? Now in Hebrew it says, Vayelech Manoah acharei ishto. In a faithful translation it should say, and Manoah arose and followed his wife, or even more literally, and Manoah arose and went after his wife. Vayelech, right? But our translators who are